Okay, today we're going to do lesson 3.04, Similar Polygons 2, and let's go ahead and get started with the lesson. Remember to always add your section number and your course number with all communication. Your course number is 202B and your section number should be 1, 2, 3, or 4, and this can all be found in the upper right hand corner of your Geometry LMS. Today what we're going to do is describe the properties of similarity and proportions. We're going to find missing lengths and similar polygons, and we're going to use properties of similar figures to solve problems. One of the properties that we're going to be discussing and using the most in these lessons are the means extremes product property. This states that you can cross multiply using the means and extremes of a proportion and the products will equal each other, and they kind of give you a demonstration down there at the bottom. I've accidentally am messing everything up. Let me see. I can't remember how to make the slide go back. There we go. I'll just use the little arrow. Down here it shows you that if A over B equals C over D, then A multiplied by D equals B times C, given that B and D are not 0. I don't particularly care for the method that they showed us down here at the bottom, and let me show you why. Hold on, I'm getting my ink. What we're used to seeing, or at least what I have taught, is that you take A over B, C over D, and you cross multiply. And this is what most teachers show students. So you're going to say A times D equals B times C. And what we don't do is this part right here. We don't ever show you this part in class. We just go from this to this. And I had one student tell me there was some kind of code word that his teacher used for it, something about a butterfly. And I can see where it's coming from. I just can't remember what the student told me. Okay, the reciprocal property states that if two ratios are equal to each other, then their reciprocals, the ratios turned upside down, are also equal to each other. And the next property is going to be the exchange property, and it states if you can switch the means of a proportion, the proportion will still be true. So if you look right here, right there, it's A over B equals C over D, and if you look over in this, they switch these guys out. And can you see how that's still going to come up with the same value? You're still doing B times C, so it doesn't matter that you switched them. Okay, and then we have the add 1 property. It states that if you add 1 to each side of the proportion, then the proportion will still be true. And this is an important thing to remember, because I had waited 15 years to go back to college to study some mathematics so I could teach it in high school, and this was an important rule that I had forgot, and I stayed stumped on a problem for quite a long time before I gave in and went and asked for help and found out this was all I had to do. So it's a very, very good property to know. Okay, let's go ahead and work on some questions. It says answer each question and show your work clearly. I say triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF, and we see pictures of triangles. ABC shows us one side is 2 yards, and then on EDF we know the measure for all 3 sides. So this first question says, what is the length of segment AC? Well, this right here is how I don't have a pointer here, But this is how I always start setting up my problems. What this does is it helps me keep everything organized. And notice that BC over EF are corresponding sides. I'm going to put a little circle on them. I'm not putting tick marks because I don't want to say they're equal to each other. But those little circles let us know that those are corresponding sides. Then I have AC corresponds with DF. Now our next step is to go ahead and plug and chug. See how I took the values for each one of those segments and just plugged them in. And then our next step is we're going to be doing the cross multiplication. And we got 6x equals 24. Divide both sides by 6 and we get x equals 4. Well, it wants to know what the length of AC is, so that's what you would put. Length of segment AC equals 4, well, I should have put the word equals there, 4 yards. Okay, this one asks what is the length of segment AB, and notice I set up my problem again, and I've still got, using the same information that was given to me, to set up BC over EF, and this time they're asking what is the value of AB, so I'm using its corresponding side of DE. So I do the plug and chug part, just plug in everything I know, and then you're going to cross multiply. So you get 6x equals 20, and then you've got to divide both sides by 6. And notice this is approximately, well, it won't let me, there we go, approximately 3.3. So I put those little squiggly equal sign there to say 3.3. Now you would just write out that length of segment AB is, and actually let's mark out that word is and write approximately. We need to say it correctly. When we say is, that means it equals. Okay, in this one it says quadrilateral DEFG is similar to quadrilateral HIJK. First thing they want to know is what is the length of segment DE. Notice how I've gone ahead and set up my corresponding sides. I'm saying that EF corresponds with IJ, so it's going to be 3 over 12, and that DE corresponds with HI. So you're going to have to do the plug and chug part. 3/12 equals x over 8, and then we're going to cross multiply. So we get 12x equals 24, and then we divide both sides by 12, so we get x equals 2. I'm going to write this one out, so no, I won't do that. Measure of segment DE is 2 centimeters. Just like that. Alright, the next part of this problem says what's the length of GF, and I'm going to go ahead and write 2 centimeters up there because I can. Notice I'm still using EF over IJ because that's my original given information. Your given information is the best source for getting the correct answer. Don't ever use information that you calculated yourself, because if you got something wrong, then the rest of your problem's going to be wrong. Okay, GF over KJ, let me see, GF, I'm just going to put circles on them again. There we go, there's our corresponding sides. So we're going to plug and chug. 3 over 12 equals x over 7. We're going to do our cross multiplication. So I get 12x equals 21. Divide both sides by 12, and I get x equals 1.75. Let me see, what was I finding? GF. And remember that one was 2 centimeters. So we found all those sides. So I bet I'm still going to have to find HK. So you can say length of segment GF is 1.75 centimeters. Oh, look, yep, we're going to have to find HK. So still using EF over IJ, I'm going to go ahead and do my plug and chug. DG over HK, so then I'm going to do my cross multiplication. So I'm going to have 3x equals 24. Divide both sides by 3. And I get x equals 8. So length of HK is 8 centimeters. And I bet y'all could have guessed that because this was 2 centimeters. This was 1.75 centimeters. And this is 8 centimeters. And the reason I thought y'all probably could guess that was because this side's 2 centimeters and this is 8. So once you figured out that DE was 2 centimeters, it only made sense that HK would also be 8. Alright, this next example here, let me go ahead and get my pen set up. I had to actually stop the recording and start it again. It says, answer each question, show your word clearly. Trapezoid ABCD is similar to trapezoid EFGH. And of course you see the trapezoids here with all their labels. And it says, what is the measure of angle H? Well, we know that the sum of the measures of the angles of a trapezoid is 360. So check this out. We take the sum of the 3 given angle measures of trapezoid ABCD and we get 300. So all they did was, I gotta find my, using my pen upside down. Okay, all they're doing is saying 120 plus 92 plus 88 equal 300 degrees. That's all they're doing there. Now, they're taking that number that they got. They know that the measures all are supposed to add up to 360, so they're just subtracting 300 from 360 and they're finding out that angle D is 60 degrees. Well, since we know that angle D is 60 degrees, that means angle H is also 60 degrees. Because whenever you have similar figures, your angles will always be congruent. And I just think it is so cool that you can change the size of an object and the angles stay the same. The first time I learned that, it just kind of blew my mind. I'm getting good with it now. I'm getting a lot better with it. But I just think it's neat. Okay, what is the length of segment HE? Now we're going to do this just like we did the ones previously. The scale factor that they're going to use is, I'm trying to find all my segments. They're going to use HE and its corresponding segment DA. But look at this. HE is a variable. It's not even a value yet. We're going to make it a value. And they're setting it up equal to EF, which corresponds with AB. And you know, it doesn't really matter if DA over HE or HE over DA, just as long as the figures. Notice how this is set up. You've got the small, trap over the large trapezoid. Okay, and make sure that everything corresponds that way. You can't have DA over HE equals EF over AB. So you can't do it that way. Alright, so now we're going to take that information and we're going to plug and chug. Looky here. I had to write it over to the side. It was getting so big. See how I plugged G in for HE, 15 for DA, 3G minus 3 for EF, and 36 for AB. Now remember, even though we're working with variables now, we're still doing the whole cross multiply trick. So G times 36 is going to give me 36G. 15 times the difference of 3G and 3 is going to look like this. Now, we set it up like this because if you'll remember, everything, 15 has to be multiplied by 3G, 15 has to be multiplied by 3. So that's why I put it in parentheses. It's just so I can do this right here. Distribute it to everybody. So look what happens when I do that. 15 times 3G is going to give me 45, and then 3 times 15 is going to give me 45. So, they're the same. So it looks like now I'm going to have to do some like terms combining, or actually, instead of calling it like terms, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, oh, no, not that 45. Let me erase that. This is what I don't like about PowerPoint. I can't erase very easy. I'm going to take this 45G and I'm going to flip it over to the other side of the equation with 36G. So watch this. Bam! And that's exactly what I did. I subtracted that 45G from each side. You know what? I'm going to kind of pencil that in here, so you'll see how I got that. Since we have two 45s, it can get confusing. So 36G minus 45G gives me a negative 9G, and then I just bring this 45 down. And notice that I bring the minus sign down with it. So now I've got to divide both sides by negative 9. Oh goodness, look what I did there. I think Miss Poor did a copy and paste trick and forgot to take the 4 out. So G equals a positive 5. Okay, well, it wanted to know what the measure of HE was. HE is G, and now I know G equals 5. So I can just come up here and replace that 5, or replace the G with the 5. And I'm good to go. Right, let's see what they ask us next. What is the length of EF? Well, notice what the measure of EF is. 3G minus 3. We know that G is 5, so all we got to do is plug and chug. Looky here. EF equals 3G minus 3, just kind of repeating what I've already said. Then I'm going to plug in that 5 for G. Then I'm going to do the math. So I got 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minus 3 is going to give me 12. So I know that I can come up here and I can mark that out, and I can say, okay, EF is 12 inches. See what's next. Oh, the summary says you can solve a proportion by using the means and extremes product property. Now, remember, I told you that's the one you're going to be using the most, so you really need to know how to do that. What you should be doing when you're finished watching this video, of course, is reading through the LMS lesson and completing the student guide, and read the lesson and the reference guide. Sometimes they add extra information. And then complete the problems that are assigned in the problem set. And after you get finished with those and you don't understand something, you really need to come to Toga. Unless it's Friday, then you need to IM me so I can help you out super quick, so you can get that 304 quiz taken and make an excellent grade on it. That's going to be it for lesson 3.04. Thank you for listening.